Today, as part of our Business Spotlight program, I'm talking to Darren Grant. He's the Managing Director of Enhanced Information Solutions, and they're based in Dublin for the Irish operation. So over to you, Darren. What is it you do, and for how long have you been doing it?
Hi, and thank you for the invite. As I said, my name is Darren Grant. I'm the Managing Director of Enhanced Information Solutions, or EAS. So essentially, we're a software solutions and application provider and implementation facility. We work with the clients would include MSD, Pfizer, Takeda. We would work also partnership with our vendors, the likes of Siemens, Cover. Essentially, what we do is we take the paper from the manufacturing, pharmaceutical manufacturing areas, and we put in a digital solution. So I've been doing this for 25 years. I started off as a graduate trainee in Takeda in Dublin, where I worked as initially setting up a line, doing technical transfer from Japan to Ireland. I've also worked with with German clients and doing scale up of lines. So I've taken product ideas from scale up, done the commissioning, both in the manufacturing and the packaging lines, and brought it all the way through to where it's released for final product and consumption. And all of that done under the rules of the HPRA and the FDA, which are dictate the guidelines. So over the years, as I said, I've worked in Germany, I've worked in the US, I've worked in Ireland, both supporting small companies all the way through to the big boys, and over the time worked with some interesting technology. But essentially, yeah, that's where I've come from.
Fantastic. And EIS, as you call it, Enhanced Information Solutions, they've been growing over this period. They're kind of
just
30 years. Yeah.
So it's an exciting company to work with. Started over 30 years ago. EIS Ireland is only established 2.5 years ago, where I took the managing role. We've currently about 25 people working here on Irish projects. I have 12 employees, and we work with Abbott, AbbVie, Sanofi, Pfizer, Regeneron, BMS, all in their digital projects, mainly in the MES space, and also on our own application Ops Tracker, which covers e-logs and e-forms. So over the last few years, we've added a couple of offices, both in Puerto Rico, Turkey, Germany has been around 8 years, but we opened one there in France this year. Again, just with growing organically, working with our clients, and essentially open up those doors and developing the teams based on clients saying we want more.
Fantastic. And if you had to start from square one in business, what would you do differently?
With the business, is probably, as I said, back myself a little bit more. Like I have like other people probably back you more than you realize, and like I'm now in my late 40s, so I won't disclose the actual number. But like, if you take a step back, there's probably no reason why you couldn't have done it a couple of years ago. Maybe 10 years ago, having a bit more belief in yourself, and also maybe not meeting the EAS team. So EAS Ireland is a subsidiary of EAS Inc., which is based in Minnesota, and those guys had the belief in me. They came to me and asked me to set it up, and maybe if I had the belief in myself and I'd met these guys earlier, we would have this company going 10 years ago or more. So sometimes, just back yourself a little bit more. Don't be take a step back and back yourself a little bit more.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely fantastic. And what have been your biggest learnings, as an employer since you began in business?
Usually, the people would be the key to success. I've always managed to to get working with the right people at the right time, and that includes going back to my own growth, having the leadership around me in all the other companies that I work with, but focus on the right person. When we interview people, our first interview is solely just scoping them out for communication skills and their willingness to work with team and work with the client. And if you get them, they'll if you learn from them, then you grow. The good people will then work with the clients, and the clients will want to work with them, and that all reflects on you as a leader of the group, as a manager. If you've got good people under you, it just really reflects on you. But also having the leadership above you, from the global company, and they're very much focused on the customer, work with the client, get the right people, and that just brings on the next job. So that would probably be the biggest learning.
Fantastic, fantastic, and that's a common theme coming through in a lot of these interviews. And the other one, I suppose, how do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
Yeah, and this has always been a bit of a problem, and I'll put my hands up and say, look, haven't always done it right. I have been in hospital, stressed out, bleeding ulcer, and the doctor said, look, what's going on? Do you eat right? And I do. Do you drink? Not really. No. Do you smoke? No. And well, then you got to change your job. So with that, I've had to take a step back, and this was before I joined EIS. And I actually worked with a coaching, a guy, Thrive Coaching down in Carlo, Michael Dimitru. So, and he helped me take a step back, do a baseline, and find out what are the priorities in the work-life balance. And I took a couple of months out, and then at the time I talked to EIS, and they said, yeah, we're still interested in you setting up. Can you help us? And they brought me on, and they respect the boundaries. They don't have me working late at night. But also then with that, it's up to me then to build a team and get a team that I can delegate to, and I can work with, and not micromanaging. Turn off the phone and turn off the laptop as much as you can, walk away. It does be a challenge when you have one or two close friends and family working with you as well, asking you questions, and sometimes you have to be blunt with them and say, can't answer that till Monday, and get a strange look. But try to turn off. Don't be afraid to say no. Also say no to the client. Sometimes they'll keep pushing, but if I do see people, including myself, working too many hours, it reflects bad on us, because then we're not managing correctly. So and then find a way to have a release. So it's hard to turn off the brain. You might be able to close the laptop, you might be able to close the phone down, but you mightn't be able to turn off the head. And so with these days, mental health can be an issue. Try and find an outlet. Some people go walking, some people do dancing. I actually have a little laser out in the garage. I'll go out and play and come up with some crafting ideas, do some laser cutting. So find what helps you is really the message there. But don't be afraid to take a step back, and it would be the thing. And look out for other people as well. Sometimes if you're looking out for the other people around you, it reminds you to get a balance.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, it's a common theme. A lot of burnout going on out there, and it's counterproductive. If people burn out, I mean, it's much better to get that balance right, and certainly it's a big one that we like to push. So going back to, you mentioned a bit there earlier, but what qualities do you look for in employees, and how do you foster a positive and productive work environment? And I think I understand a lot of your people work remotely as well.
Yeah, so again, we are based in Dublin, but we have projects and the guys are based remotely. So I have people working in the west of Ireland, then the south of Ireland, and the centre of Ireland. And then I get support from teams in Turkey, India, Puerto Rico, the US. So the main thing that works and what gels all that together is actually the communication. So it goes back to when I'm talking about what makes us successful is the communication, and people that are open to communication, take the positive the constructive criticism, take the wins, share the wins. The technical team you can build. The communication, sometimes it's natural, so you really have to scope that out at the start. And then also look for a team that you don't have to micromanage. I'm lucky enough I have a good team, and they'll come to me if they're not being challenged or if they're not getting enough work. So they're generating value for the company all the time. I also kind of have, with them working remotely, I'll look to have at least like we have 2 15-minute meetings a week just to check in on each other. And even if I'm not there, they'll check in on each other. They're looking out for each other. And then obviously the one-to-ones. It's an opportunity for the quiet person in the meeting, not like, not to be able, that mightn't like, give the information across or give the concern across. It's the opportunity for them to be listened, to be heard. So I'll do one-to-ones with all the people once a month.
Fantastic.
Just to make sure they're happy. And then also, look, make sure when you do listen to them, take the notes, follow up, and they can see that, like, the action is there, and that it wasn't just an empty 30 minutes of a talk, that you have actually value into it. So they're the kind of, with all of that, and we're trying to create an atmosphere that, like, our employees then go talk to their friends and say, oh, we've done this. We have like our group meetings once a year. In the US, we have a European meeting in one of the other offices once a year, where we team build. And now they're creating an atmosphere that their friends are going, any chance of a job? And that just creates a nice pipeline of people for us. And like, if I had more projects, I'd definitely be hiring. There are a lot of valuable people out there that I'm just waiting for more projects to hire.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, if I've seen that developing with clients, where if we can develop a kind of great place to work, great place to be, and you mentioned listen there, to be listened to, a huge thing for people on the communication. And then we start attracting the talent that we're looking for, rather than beating the bushes for it.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's plenty of great talent out there. And like, as well, if I do get people coming to me, and sometimes I'll say, look, really, what do you need? Find out what they need, because sometimes they'll come to you and you might be the fit for them. So don't be afraid to, like, say to him or her, look, I really appreciate your offering, but really this is where you need to go to. And Ireland being the network that it is, there's always somebody that you can refer them to, and hopefully they get to where they need to be.
Fantastic. Yeah, fit is a huge thing, getting the right fit.
Yeah, exactly.
If we got your culture defined and our vision and mission, and then to make sure there's a right fit for people coming into that.
Exactly.
That's another very common theme in all of these interviews.
And it goes back to your life balance question. Like, we're talking about our life balance, but we have to take into account other people's life balance, and it mightn't fit for them. So help them along the way. Sometimes we just have to help them along the way, and mightn't be with us, but help them along the way.
Fantastic. And I suppose just to finish up then, Darren, what are some of the common misconceptions about running a business, and how do you address them?
Yeah, so I have actually 3. One would be, you don't have to be a hard person to own a business or run a business. People kind of think, oh, you have to be hard. You don't have to be fair. You have to be respectful, but set the boundaries. Like, with the boundaries, you stand up for them. And the boundaries could be like how you treat your staff, like, or how the expectations of how they treat your staff, the hours, etc. The expectations from both sides are clearly set. So the boundaries are there, and like, you work together, and essentially want the employees to see those, you want the client to see those, and potential clients and employees to see those, but see them as, like, as a mark of respect and a wall. So that would be one. Like, you don't need to be a hard person. You don't need to go it alone. There's agencies, there's plenty of coaching agencies like yourselves that can help. There's colleges, there's companies that support businesses at all stages. So reach out to the IDA, the Enterprise Ireland. They'll find you something to do. They'll find you some courses as well, or put you in contact with mentoring groups. But you just need to put your hand up and say, I need help. There's plenty of, Ireland again is a beautiful country for that. There's always somebody in the network that will help. And you have to know everything. It would be the third one. It's a misconception. You don't have to know everything. Somebody said the phrase to me before that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yes.
And that resonates with me all the time. So if you're the smartest person and you think you know everything, then you're probably wrong. So use the coaching, get the courses, spend time doing education, but find the people that can help you do it, like, build them into your team. So once, like I said, they're the three main ones. And if you get past them, then you're already winning.
Fantastic. Listen, Darren, it's been great chatting to you today. There's some fantastic learnings in there for all of our viewers, and really delighted you could make the time for us today.
Perfect, and thank you for the invite.